What happened to empowering the oppressed? Why is it that the alphabet gang, the feminists, are all given encouragement by society to be empowered and all these things, and what you go girl or go boss bitch? What happened to sympathy? What happened to looking out for the mentally unhealthy? What happened to looking out for the weak? What happened to altruism? Why is it that incels are the most oppressed group out there? Why is it that even though we know that their hatred of women stems from trauma, stems from their confusion and anger, because maybe they've been mistreated once or twice and they've had their heart broken multiple times, and we have no sympathy for them. We berate them, we shit on them, just because maybe their vision is definitely not very ideal. They've tried everything they know to feed this intrinsic urge to gain a woman's attention, and they're still alone for so many years, some even above 30, and that's terrible. To feel like you don't deserve that same level of love that other people have, to feel like you don't deserve that female obsession over you for so many years, that can't be healthy to live with. I bet many of these incels spend years and years to grind and try so many things, and they still end up mistreated. They still end up with failures again and again. It's hard not to get angry from that, but they have no sympathy and they get no encouragement. And there's zero education that is mainstream. I mean, it would be pretty weird of the government to teach us how to get girls, but there's no direction for this, and so many men are lost. Why isn't it the same for women? Well, that's because, men are kinda disgusting creatures. Sometimes they just look for a quick fuck. A 4 out of 10 would suffice sometimes, because we are kinda... Okay. Nobody has empathy for incels. Because of perpetual failure, there's no doubt that they will probably someday end up like this. And I feel like we know they suffered, and that's why they end up in this position. People all over media feed these lies to feed their virtuous altruism on what is objectively attractive, rather than what is actually attractive. They feed these lies to gain admiration for themselves, and they feed these lies driven by their own fears and anger. For example, how often do you see women on social media preach how attractive a dead bod is? How attractive it is to be fat or to be severely underweight like those K-pop stars. And feminine men are now attractive. So how confusing is that for us normal men? How confusing must it be to have our masculinity villainized? Everything that has to do with masculinity is now deemed as toxic, is now unhealthy, is now not necessary behavior, and we are berated for it because they don't need us right now. They tell us that men should be allowed to show our emotions, yet once we do, they run far away from us because we can't handle ourselves. And that makes sense, but we still listen to those lies. And I'm not saying completely hide your emotions. I'm saying that you should not let your emotions influence how you behave or how you react or how you make decisions, and you should not emotionally vomit on people. Nobody has the capacity for that. But it is very important for us to learn to be vulnerable, and we can share our emotions, but we don't expect the person to actually care, and we don't take it personally when they don't listen attentively or give a shit about what we're going through. That is being stoic, and that is being emotionally disciplined. But the way they sell their lies is encouraging us to be more emotionally volatile, is being afraid of those men who have control over their emotions, who are powerful, who are unfazed by situations and circumstances and insults. They fear that, and they try to berate that. They try to put that down because they fear the dominance of a strong man. Name some laws and rights that in the West right now men have that women don't have, and then you realize there's barely any, if not none at all. In fact, I will argue that in married relationships and things like that, women always have the advantage. And people are deliberately employing women just for diversity, just for the name of diversity, just to show their virtue and their altruism for equality. Even if the woman is nowhere near as competent as the man, they'll probably choose to hire the woman sometimes, just because. These incels are confused, angry, and stuck in the same place. They don't know what to do, they don't know where to go. It's taboo to even talk about wanting to attract women. It's taboo to do anything with the goal of attracting women. It's looked down upon, and people are disgusted to hear that you do things with the goal of becoming more attractive. And I really don't understand why. Why is it superficial? That's their main argument. Why is it superficial to try to soothe this intrinsic desire to mate, to reproduce? Isn't that the basic survival instinct of human beings? I don't really understand it, but maybe you can give me some better perspective. It's actually genetic code that we would want to mate, and they say it's shallow to have that as a goal. But I think it's a pretty powerful goal. And if someone's entirely run by that, why should you tell him he's wrong? What happened to I identify as they, them, she, sure? What if they identify as I want to please and attract women? It's not in their control. I identify as I want to be more attractive, so you have to accept me, right? Leave me alone. There's a story about this lesbian woman. She had pretty masculine features to begin with, so she decided to become a man, essentially. By, she wore those things that reduce her tit size. She did her hair, everything, so she could look like a man, and she lived like a man. And she was seen as a man for, I think, 2 years. And she wrote a book about it. After she finished her book, she committed some sort of medically assisted suicide because she was so confused at how terribly the women were treating her. Doesn't this signify how terrifying it is to be a man nowadays? They claim that expecting a man to be able to take criticism, to take insults is part of a social construct. Yet it's so widely practiced as they preach this. And if we don't take it, if we whine or complain, they leave us. They don't talk to us anymore because we're incapable. They always preach about embracing these people, but that's an idealistic standpoint. Nobody has the capacity to care for your sorry ass. So don't listen to these blinded people, blinded by virtuousness, by altruism, because they're righteous and blindly so. It's always practiced that it is unhealthy to try to be better, to never be satisfied, to always look for better things. And maybe at some extent, maybe it will start being unhealthy. With so much comfort and so much technology to enhance our learning ability, to enhance our ability to stay organized and structured, I really think now is the age where we really have no excuse but to work really hard and to always try to be better. And who says we can't be happy while trying to be better? Who says we have to be satisfied in order to be happy? I'm so joyful and blissful right now, but I can look better, I can live more, I can talk to more people, I can confront more fears. I really don't understand why they're trying to stop people from trying to be better. Maybe they fear our dominance. Maybe they are afraid of failure themselves, afraid of being below themselves, so they stop other people from progressing ahead of them. Maybe, but there's many other reasons that this could be possible. Or maybe I'm wrong. There's this fitness YouTuber, Alex Eubank. He goes on Omegle a lot. And he will sit there in front of girls with like, I mean, he's kind of asking for it, but he has his like shirt unbuttoned with his very big chest, and he doesn't say anything, but the girls there immediately once they see him, because he's confident and he has his very hard work on display. You might say that's arrogant, but sure, you don't have to berate them for it. If a fat person sat there with their belly out, you're gonna berate them for it? No, because it'll be wrong then. You'll be a bad person if you do that for some reason. But if he's fit, if he's confident, shit on them all you like. So he would sit there, he hasn't said anything yet, and they'll just call him ugly because he's fit and confident. And they'll berate him for it. They'll be like, I prefer dead bots. Like, he didn't even ask. Thanks. So what I've learned from social media is we can't do anything with the goal of competition or impressing people or attracting women. Those are all wrong. And I still don't know why, but maybe you can give me some insight. They mock high quality men and celebrate the useless ones. And then they end up chasing the high quality men. And it's sad, it's confusing for younger men, for men in their teens or men who are naive or don't have a very strong father figure. It's so confusing because we do what they say and they stray further and further away from us. And we become friend zoned. It's not a fair world. And we are not taught to not listen to these people, because it would be pretty weird of the government to educate this kind of thing. All these liars controlled by their own motives and fears. I wasted all my life before self-improvement, preaching altruism and being blindly righteous, and I made zero progress because it's unhealthy to improve. I hated confident people for no reason, drowning in my cynicism because trying to be better is arrogant, selfish, cringe. I finally learned the importance of each to their own, being able to fight for what's yours, being able to stand for something, even if it means standing alone, caring for only your tribe and your friends and people you actually care about and know you can trust, learning to be skeptical and learning that you should take what everybody says and what everybody tries to tell you as bullshit until you've thought through it thoroughly. I've learned to fight selfishly because everybody else is going to do the same, and you'll only be destroyed if you do not do the same. These bots and NPCs that listen blindly and spread positive messages that are not even positive, run by their own fears and righteousness. These people are tyrants and you can't listen to them. But who am I to say? As I speak right now, whatever I say is also run by my own emotions. So you should probably thoroughly think before actually listening to what I have to say. People's words are very often influenced by their own emotions and their own fears. Until you've done your own thinking, you really should be skeptical of everything. Until proven otherwise, you should remain skeptical and understand that the words people speak is really not absolute. Just like yours, their ideas can change very rapidly. Until proven reliable, everyone's full of shit in some way. Don't listen to their lies and chase the person you want to become. To better world.